I was stabbed a dozen times, nearly bled to death. I decided that I'm gonna come to a house party here at this house. Prior to this time, I'd been having a local rap beef with another rapper from this area. But unfortunately, we had a lot of mutual friends. We would see each other often. It just kept building. Upstairs, there was a keg set up. I walk upstairs to refill my cup. The guy that I had beef with is up there. I just offered a handshake. I say, hey man, we see each other all the time. I'd rather just squash it. When I put my hand out, the guy slaps my hand away and he says, we're gonna fight. Okay, you know, fuck it. We're going outside and I'm gonna beat this dude's ass. And as soon as we came out the door here, he turned around and tried to sucker punch me before we even got outside. So we start fighting. I'm serving up what I think is probably the beating of a lifetime. I'm literally extension kicking him with the bottom of my boot. I land another kick and I start feeling like I have a dead leg or a cramp. As I remember at the time, there was no porch light other than the one up there. I remember walking from this area over here and up to the front door so that I could see what was going on. As I walked up to the front door and could actually see a little bit, I looked down and I could see blood spurting out of my artery right here. I didn't know that the guy had a knife, which was actually what's called a punch blade, which is a lead bar that goes inside your fist to make your punches heavier, with a 6-inch serrated blade that came out the middle fingers right here. He had painted this thing black, so I had no idea that I was being stabbed. And as odd as it sounds, I actually thought that at some point he had hit or kicked me in the balls and that my testicles had exploded and were bleeding profusely. I actually remember yelling into the house, call an ambulance, my balls exploded. And this was before cell phones. I was kind of in a panic mode. I opened the door to the house, and as the door opens, there's one square of oak. As I stepped onto that square, within seconds, blood filled that entire square of oak. And I just remember people screaming, people jumping in their cars and slamming the car doors and tires squealing as they drove away. Many friends were freestyling excuses not to help me, not to put me in their car because they had leather seats in their Honda. Another guy had an 8-ball of Coke. And at one point, I decided to just sit down and I guess just give up. One of the good friends came over, picked me up, put me into a car. I don't even know how fast he was going, but I thought I might die in a car accident instead of with the injury that I had. I get to the hospital and have to have an immediate blood transfusion and surgery. I was coming in and out of consciousness. I'm laying in a bed and I wake up and a doctor takes a full-size towel and folds it over and wipes it across my leg right here. And I look down and he says, it appears that you've been stabbed. There's a hole about this big around and that hole was just torn up meat and it was about that deep. So I just watched that hole fill up with blood immediately and start spilling over my leg, and then I passed back out. I end up waking up the next day and finding out